Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix Show. My name is Chris Wong. Happy New Year's Eve to everybody. And if for you, it might already be New Year's. So happy New Year's Day to you as well. But I would like to finish off the 2020 with this big video here with a special something at the end. My final tinfoil of 2020. If you've been following me for this long, you know that I've done a lot of tinfoil videos in regards to Zack Snyder's Justice League on whether it would come out. I never stopped believing in it, and I'm so happy that many of you never stopped believing in it, and 2020 was the year that it finally came out. So that is an amazing achievement in itself for this year. Probably one of the only good things that happened this year, and I want to end it off on a strong suit. But before I get all into that, let's get on with the DC updates for today. The first topic of the day is Rose and Thorn is in development for HBO Max. This is coming from What's on HBO Max. According to Daniel RPK, Rose and Thorn is one of DC's film in development for HBO Max. The movie could debut in 2022 under the 4 theatrical plus 2 streaming DC movies plan. First reported back in February by Fandom Wire, the film will follow teenager Rose as she attempts to move on with her life following the death of her father. However, she has a split personality named Thorn that wants to track down her father's murderers and bring them to justice. Thorn's first appearance as a villain for Flash in this Flash comic book right here, The Thorn, newest opponent. So it kind of reminds me of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde type of movie, except she's a hero in this case. But I think it would be a very compelling, very intriguing, mysterious, edge of your seat type thriller. So I'm all for that, despite being a DC film. Aside from being a DC film, just that alone could be really compelling. So I'm really hoping this is true and hoping that actually is going to come out in 2022. It just needs a lot more content, a lot more DC films, and you can clearly see there's going to be a lot more variety in the amount of DC content that's going on HBO Max. That's awesome. All right, now let's talk a little bit about Wonder Woman 1984. Wonder Woman 1984 apparently is the most watched more in its first week than any other direct-to-streaming movie in 2020. I want to pull out, shout out to Comic Book Debate for pulling this article from the Hollywood Reporter. According to Screen Engine, Wonder Woman 84 has already been watched more in its first week than any other 2020 SVOD movie streaming, right? Edging out Hamilton, which was on Disney Plus, and Soul. Screen Engine, one of Hawaii's leading research firms in terms of movie-going and consumer habits, began polling home entertainment viewers in earnest after the pandemic struck. So it looks like they've got a nice, sensible list and charts to go along with it. But among existing HBO customers, 19% told Screen Engine they would likely have canceled their subscriptions had it not been for Wonder Woman 1984. And so that's probably why the studio decided to greenlight Wonder Woman 3. Now, there's a lot of speculation on what Wonder Woman 3 is going to be. I kind of had some thoughts about that in the last video and the other videos before, how it should be. There is a rumored Wonder Woman 3 setting today coming from Geekosity, where they have a scoop. Apparently, Wonder Woman returns to Themyscira in third and more serious film. Now, beware, this is just a rumor for now. This is not confirmed, nothing like that. This is their own insiders saying that this could be the case. So that's why I'm putting it as rumored for now. But I want to discuss it because it is kind of interesting, right? It says here that while DC Films doesn't have a clear vision of what to do with the series going forward beyond the third film, most likely it'll be Jenkins' final at the helm. And I think that makes sense because Toby Emmerich says completing the trilogy, right? DC Films does want the Wonder Woman movies to incorporate more of the DCEU by having much of Wonder Woman in Themyscira, right? So the third Wonder Woman movie will apparently have the franchise go full circle as Amazon Princess returns to her native island of Themyscira. With Patty Jenkins back as the director, the movie will apparently be closer in tone to the 2017 initial film. So it's going to be a little bit more serious and grittier at the same time. They're also saying that the shift has nothing to do with their mixed reception in 1984, but it's because of the time and contemporary setting. And that's what Patty Jenkins says. She wants to put it in the contemporary setting. And they also heard that the movie will most likely take place, of course, on Themyscira with the sorceress Circe as the main villain. And that's like something everybody kind of said that would make sense. And having it go at Themyscira, they're saying Jenkins can simply ignore events that happened in Justice League or the Snyder Cut and focus on her own tale. So it's not out in the world. For some reason, Diana returns to Themyscira, and they have an adventure. They have a story right there. So, and I would say that's kind of cool. I think if that were the case, if that happens, I'd buy that. I think it's, and I'm not saying this is actually going to happen, but that would be kind of interesting. Instead, I mean, I want to see that futuristic, dystopian future type of deal, right? But okay, if it's going to be in a modern, contemporary setting, and then we're not necessarily knowing what's around Themyscira, because Themyscira essentially looks like Themyscira. It doesn't matter; it's ageless. Then that would make sense. Then she can ignore what happens on the outside. She doesn't have to worry about trying to, Patty Jenkins says, what is she going to do now with this whole pandemic? Should she put that in the film? And I'm like, well, that just complicates things, I would think. So if she doesn't want to figure any of that out, put her on a different world, or in this case, on a different island. And Themyscira is secluded. It's by itself, and potentially it could have a story there. You never know. There might be some things in Themyscira that it's not all sunshine and rainbows, right? I mean, I think maybe there could be ways that, there's, inner turmoil, perhaps. Maybe this sorceress was woken up somehow and things like that. You can have Cheetah come back in a certain fashion, like take the fight there, or they bring her into the island or something. It does make it sound like a lot more things you can do there. Even though it sounds like we're restricting to the island, I think it just kind of frees up Patty Jenkins' options for how to write that story without having to worry about the outside world or any other movie and any of the characters that come with it. Like, if she was going to save the world again, then at that point in time, in modern times, people will be questioning, like, where's Superman? Where's Batman? Well, not necessarily Batman, but where's the other heroes that are around the world that are, this thing is taken over, right? So I think that makes a lot of sense, and I'm kind of intrigued by that. I don't know if it's true, but it would sound like it could come across as a good story. So we'll see what happens. Especially, this is the sequel to the Amazon's spinoff. It must mean that it could possibly connect. So we'll see. So I thought that was kind of compelling, and I wanted to share that with you. All right, the next topic is about The Flash. Apparently, The Flash will begin filming in April. This is coming from a site called Backstage, in which they have a list of following United Kingdom projects that are now visible on the horizon. They're either in development or actively casting. So in this case, for The Flash, they said this hotly anticipated film following DC Comics character The Flash has been in development for years, with Ezra Miller attached to play the superhero who can think and move at the speed of light. It's finally moving into production, led by its director Andy Muschietti. Shooting starts at Warner Brothers Leaves Den Studios in April, and we can now confirm that U.S. casting director Rich Delia is attached alongside United Kingdom counterpart Kate Ringsell. So now they have casting directors. They have on both sides, and they are going to shoot UK Leavesden Studio this coming April. So that's pretty exciting. I can't wait for this to finally start shooting after being announced for so long with multiple directors, multiple scripts, things like that. And just, I can't wait to just get it over with. Just start filming, and then we can, even when they're filming, sometimes things could roll wrong, but at least that's just one step closer to actually being an actual movie, right? An actual thing that's going to happen, right? There's a story going around, and this is again from Daniel RPK, but Dave the Film Junkie also confirms this as well, that Jared Leto apparently wants to do the Death of Robin story. So this is coming from DCEU. Jared Leto wants to star in a movie or series like The Joker to explore Robin's death at the hands of the character. This is the project that Leto wants to be R-rated. And Dave the Film Junkie had, on Deck the Halls of Justice, had myself, and Zack Snyder and Andre as well. And, Zack Snyder kind of just talked a little bit about the Joker. You can check out my Joker video editorial up there if you want to click on it as well. There's a little bit more about that, but he did talk about wanting to do like a comic book involving the death of Robin. And because there is going to be that tension when Joker has to work with Batman, right, in the nightmare future. So, I think that maybe even Jared Leto, maybe he probably enjoyed being back as Joker, obviously, and maybe he got excited and it's like, can we do that later on, maybe in Ben Affleck's movie or some sort of fashion? And I'm like, yes, please. I mean, if this dude is passionate enough, and he really wants to do it, and if Zach wants to do it, or Ben wants to do it, or some fashion to get that, I would totally love to see that. Whether it's in series or a movie, I don't know what. It's just a clip in some movie or something. Totally would love to see that live action version of that. So that'd be pretty awesome. And I think it would be a great spin-off or a sequel in a way to Zack Snyder's Justice League, perhaps, right? So that's awesome. Now we're talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League. Today, after that, New York Times article with Walter Hamada, Ray Fisher tweeted out today something really big. He said this, right? Walter Hamada is the most dangerous kind of enabler. His lies and Warner Brothers PR failed September 4th hit piece sought to undermine the very real issues of the Justice League investigation. So I will not participate in any production associated with him, accountability over entertainment. Now, this is really damning. Like this, he literally just called Walter Hamada out. DC Films president Walter Hamada out for after this New York Times article, right? And as you know, the New York Times article was just Walter Hamada and the writer trying to show us, tell the world that he's in charge. He's got all these plans. The multiverse was his idea in a way, and they're going to do like 4 films a year with 2 films or a series or whatever on HBO Max, and a lot of these different projects, and that he's responsible for this. Although within other articles, they relate that, him and Toby Emmerich tried to bury Todd Phillips' Joker. They tried to bury it. They didn't want that to happen. They didn't invest in it. They didn't like it. They didn't want it to happen. They did back Shazam and Birds of Prey, but ultimately, it's interesting to see that Joker made $1 billion and won many awards. Even though it was critically not well received, I'd say it was like in the 68%. It's kind of like where Wonder Woman 1984 is right now, if you're looking at Rotten Tomatoes. So it's kind of interesting how that happens, right? It's like $1 billion, many awards, but Todd Phillips had to fight to get that movie made. Walter Hamada and Toby Emmerich tried to stop it. What did help? Birds of Prey, Shazam, well received. And I think Birds of Prey is not as well received as Shazam, but it's more well received than Wonder Woman 1984 and Joker. But it's box office down here. So in a way, I feel like Warner Media does not have too much confidence in them, and that's why they let the Snyder Cut come out. They released the Snyder Cut, not because of Walter, not because of Toby Emmerich, even though in the articles it says Toby Emmerich was the one that called up Zack Snyder and stuff. From the people I've heard from, they made him call him. They made him call him because he's the one that has to greenlight projects. But Jason Kyler, up on top, and all the associates from AT&T was the one that made that happen, right? Made that happen. They said, what's all this Snyder Cut going on? What's going on here? And because if it was that easy, it would have came out already, right? So Walter Hamada, Toby Emmerich, they wanted to stop the Snyder Cut. They're the ones that they're trying to bury this thing. They did not want it to come out. They tried to bury Joker, and that's already out. It's in articles. They've tried to bury Joker, right? So, and Joker is the one big success. So AT&T, Warner Media, they don't have faith in these two people, but they can't fire him. That's bad PR if they fire them, right? It shows, oh, look what's happening. The company's in turmoil. They fired the DC Films president. They fired this. They can override them, but it's going to be tough when they try to fire them, and it's going to look bad for the company in the whole, right? Because that's just going to spur a lot of conversation. Look what happened to Kevin Sujara. Or they just throw Joss Whedon under the bus, which they pretty much did. They kind of did already. So what do they do? Right? Well, they go to reporters and they become the insiders, and they go to New York Times, for instance, or the other scathing piece, that September 4th hit piece to I think it was a Hollywood Reporter, and they say, write this up because you're going to listen to us, right? We're going to make ourselves look good. We're going to make ourselves look great. We're going to be the heroes of this through the media, right? Because the bloggers, the critics, they listen to them, right? And that's what happened for the New York Times. And they said things that they wanted to say. They say things like Zack Snyder's Justice League is just going to end up in a street that leads to nowhere. It's a cul-de-sac. Don't worry about that. That was kind of one of those things that we just let slide. But we're still in control. We're still in control. But guess what? You're not really in control, because AT&T, Warner Media, has decided that they're going to listen to the consumers. Why do you think they put out all the movies the same time simultaneously in 2021 on HBO Max, including in theaters? Because they know they want to get to the consumers quicker, faster, less amount of money. They want to get to you. They want to get to me. Right? They are listening. Wonder Woman 3 was announced because Wonder Woman 1984 did so well. They didn't wait around. It did well, got announced. It's like, hey, that was quick. All right. It worked well. Wonder Woman 1984 was may not have been well received critically. A lot of fans didn't like it, but there are also fans that loved it as well. Doesn't matter. The numbers show. The majority watched it, and the majority had faith in it. When they watched it, they subscribed to it, and they will continue on subscribing, because next year is Zack Snyder's Justice League. Next year That's where we're going to make it count. We're going to make Zack Snyder's Justice League one of the biggest hits they've ever done. And their eyes are literally going to be open, and they're going to be like, Toby and Hamada, I don't care what you do. I don't care if you're not happy, but you're going to green light Justice League 2 and 3, and you're going to call up Ray Fisher and apologize. I think that's what's going to happen. I really, really believe that. I don't know if that's going to be how it's going to happen, but I think if Zack Snyder's Justice League is going to be the successful, is going to be a big hit, they're going to need the heart of Justice League back in it for the sequels. And who's going to be Cyborg? Ray Fisher. So at this time, Walter Hamada and them, they can say, no, we're not going to use Ray Fisher as Cyborg in the Flash movie or any other movie right now. Zack Snyder's Justice League, he's already in it. And once everybody sees him, and if it does really well, and they're like, I want to see more Ray Fisher as Cyborg, the consumer, the money, the customers is always right. In any business, the customer is always right for the most part, especially when you got millions of them. And once the numbers come in, they're going to say, you know what? We got to do Justice League 2 and 3. You know what? People love Ray Fisher as Cyborg. We got to give more opportunities. We got to work with him. We got to do something. And it could be the case where they says, you know what, Ray, don't worry. We got Walter Hamada to green light it. You don't have to work with him at all. You don't have to work. We won't even put his name on it. I don't know. I'm not sure how it's going to work in that type of cases, but it could happen. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with this. I'm very curious what comes from this in the coming days as we get into the new year. And Zack Snyder's Justice League marketing is going to go full throttle. But in order to kind of hype us up a little bit and, give a little bit more to the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention, I want to show you the new AFSP shirts by Victor Koo, also known as Mighty Pegasus. Who is Victor Koo? Well, he won the Zack Snyder's Justice League fan poster and won the clapperboard, and he was able to go to the additional photography set with Zack Snyder and probably with like Ben Affleck and, whoever else was there on set, Jared Leto. And he probably saw all them, probably took lots of pictures and videos that he's not going to share with us yet, but he's still helping the movement out. So, especially helping the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention, especially during this time, during COVID, it is tough for a lot of people in stress and money-wise. It's really difficult for a lot of people who are very depressed not to try to take their own lives. So, and that's why the foundation is to help those individuals, to have more people manning those calls and talk to people out of taking their own lives. So we're saving lives here, guys. So these shirts are available now. I'll link them in the description below. The first one is Mighty Martian Manhunter. What a sick design. That's an awesome design. White shirt or black shirt. On the back, of course, is Mighty Pegasus art symbol there, which looks really cool. So this is not, I don't know if this what is the Martian Manhunter will look like. It was kind of blurry when Zach showed it, but I would say it's almost pretty quite similar to that. Another shirt, Mighty Ray Side. So this is Ray Porter on the left side with the Justice League shirt and Dark Side on the right side. Fools, he says there. Really cool. It almost looks like a great looking Funko Pop. If some way somebody could just make that half Funko Pop, that would be pretty cool. Now, this is his own design for Darkseid. He did say that that's not, he doesn't know what Darkseid's going to look like, but he just put it, that's how he designed it. So, but it still looks awesome. Nonetheless, it can also come on a black shirt as well. So, Go ahead, check out the shirts. I think there's even masks available as well. It's not just shirts on both designs. There's also masks available if you want to get more masks as you're going out into at social distancing. So that is available as well, including Mighty Pegasus as well. So that's pretty cool. All right. Well, thank you so much, Victor Koo, Mighty Pegasus. Awesome designs. Awesome designs. Check it out. Get a shirt, get a mask, anything to help support the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention. Be the light and support. All right. Now I promised you that because this is the last video for 2020, I'm going to share with you one more tinfoil, right? I want to go back in time, though, to one particular tinfoil that I kind of started off with, right? This is the tinfoil that I started off with. Remember this a long time ago, where Zack Snyder just shared a cut on his thumb. Alongside, there was a Superman picture in another day, but pretty much that. And Snyder got a cut. Snyder cut. Did he hint at the Snyder cut back then? I think this was in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. Wow. You're right. I mean, this is like back then, everything that he shared was under scrutiny. And we started trying to pick up things, the Thanksgiving, seeing the temperature that's 214, or the time is like now at least an hour more, or something like that, or 114 at least an hour more, or something like that. I don't forget. But there was so many different things. He went to the barber shop and it says he got himself a Snyder cut. Things like that, and it's just little information, little by little. In fact, I shared with you before that I says, Zach, I'm sorry. I talked to him on the phone, and it was like, Zach, I'm sorry for all the tinfoil videos. He's like laughed, and he's like, no, it's fine. It's great discussion. And some of it, he was like, maybe I should call him up and tell him to calm down or something. But for the most part, he enjoyed it. He watched his videos, and he said a lot of them were on point. I didn't really clarify which was on point. In fact, that was probably one I should have asked. Was that really you hinting at the Snyder cut? I don't know. But I have one more tinfoil that I want to share with you today.
What's your source on this? A tinfoil hat?
Yes, Mr. Harry Lennox. Source is a tinfoil hat. It's not full tinfoil anymore. This is just a portion of it because I had to keep Zack Snyder's signature autograph on there that I got at the art center. And I want to share you one last tinfoil. Yes, it's probably silly and things like that, but that's not the point. I built a lot of my videos around the tinfoil back in the day, and because this is the end of 2020, I felt it very, very much that I need to end it on a tinfoil high, if you will. This picture came out viral, and this is actually 6 days ago, and I didn't want to talk about it until this moment today right here. Zack Snyder shared this on Vero. I needed some bread from scratch this morning. So at 5 a.m. start, just got finished as everyone got up for breakfast. There's the bread. That's some emoji of a person. But you also notice a magnifying glass. Magnifying glass. Why the magnifying glass? Are you trying to let us focus in on something here? There's 3 slices of bread and a giant loaf in the back. Now, many of you already caught on to the tinfoil. You didn't need my help at all. You've got your own tinfoil on. And that's awesome. That's beautiful, in fact. I'm really proud of that. The 3 slices, that could be 3 cuts down. and the Snyderverse left to go. Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and Justice League Part 1. But we still got the rest of the Snyderverse loaf to go. He can essentially cut more of it, right? And other people thought it was Justice League 1, 2, and 3 sliced out. But I want to think that he's got 3 slices down and the rest of the loaf to go. Because at this moment, it's up to us to help him Snyder cut some more bread and restore the Snyderverse. This is the point, I think. In my tinfoil, thank you so much to Russ Barnes for letting me still have this power. I know what you're probably gonna put on a weird comment down under here, but this is what's gonna happen, right? Restore the Snyderverse is going to be a big event this coming year, and it actually starts tomorrow. If you think about it, this is the event on December 31st. We trend worldwide. Hashtag restore the Snyderverse at UTC 02:14 p.m. Regional timings, of course, is right there. For me, that's going to be like 5:14 a.m. Don't worry, I'll schedule it out and I'll join this, because we cannot let Walter Hamada and co. say that the Snyder Cut is just the cul-de-sac. It's a street that ends to nowhere. Because we do know that it will eventually end with Justice League 2 and 3. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to watch the living F out of Zack Snyder's Justice League when it come out. Right? At the same time, we're going to let everybody know that if you support Zack Snyder's Justice League, if you watch Zack Snyder's Justice League, and you make sure you pay for Zack Snyder's Justice League, either paying for the service on HBO Max or paying to rent for it on Google Play or other whatever ways, Apple TV, I don't care. You don't pirate it. You do the right thing. You support it wholeheartedly. Just as much as you just were curious about Wonder Woman 1984, this one is going to be the biggest DC film out the gate next, and probably the biggest one in conversation right now. Nothing trends bigger right now than Zack Snyder's Justice League. Nothing trends bigger now than Zack Snyder's Justice League. And we're going to make AT&T, Warner Media, Jason proud, because they've invested into it, and they're all waiting and watching to see if we're going to support this as much as we say we are, as much as we hashtag it out, because we are. In 2021, we're going to watch Zack Snyder's Justice League over and over. We're going to like it. We're going to share it. We're going to retweet it out. We're going to, go to your neighbors. You knock on their goddamn doors and you say, you turn on that television. You turn on that phone. There is a magical beast of an epic film right there on your Samsung, on your iPhone, on your TV, on your Roku, on your Amazon Fire TV, wherever, and have them watch Zack Snyder's Justice League. And what happens next? Well, Jason's going to call up Toby Emmerich and Walter Hamada and says, you're going to green light this weekend Zack Snyder's Justice League 2. And guess who's going to be Cyborg in it? Ray Fisher. That's going to happen. It's up to us. We hold more power than you think we do. As consumers, as customers, as fans, we hold all that power. And they want to make us happy. Because who doesn't want money, right? Who doesn't want that attention? They want to make us happy. So let's make them happy. And then ultimately, let's make Zack Snyder happy. The cast and crew, and of course, Ray Fisher himself as well. Let's get it done. We got the Snyder Cut down. We've got Man of Steel down. We got BVS down. Let's get the rest of that loaf. Let's eat good next year. Let's eat good. All right. I'll end it with that. So please, tomorrow, worldwide, restore the Snyderverse. Let's do it. Let's do it for everyone. All right. Now let's get on with the Ping Pong Flix, my final Ping Pong Flix members' comments and questions for 2020. Let's get into it. All right. So this is coming from the last video. Eric Blake. So Zack reveals that the very first shot of Justice League 1 is Clark's death, leading, of course, to Lois waking up and reaching to the empty half of the bed. This begs for the question, when do we see the big extended history? I have no idea, and I can't wait to find out. Eric Blake, yeah, the cutting down of the Themyscira sequence for Justice League goes to show Tsujihara's stupid mandate to cut it down to 2 hours even, and Whedon's stupid notion to hold all those Russian family scenes at a higher priority than so many valuable things. Yeah, Whedon, so long held for being Mr. Strong female characters, doesn't find that as important as Dostoevsky. I agree. Amparo, I got a like from AT&T for my comment. We need Justice League 1, 2, and 3. Well, good job, Amparo. I've seen other people also tweet out to HBO Max help and things like that. I don't know what it means, but it's great to see them responding to consumers at least, right? Consumers, fans, right? They're trying to find out what we want so that they can provide what we want, and so we watch what we want, right? So it's all business. Listening to your fans, which are your consumers, is ultimately really important. Amparo, I'll appreciate all you do for us. Since your numbers keep growing, maybe our comments should have a limit of words or characters. Otherwise, you need hours just to read our comments. Well, I appreciate Amparo, and I don't mind reading it. That's why if it's a short amount of section like that, it makes it a lot more easier to go through it a little bit more quicker. But thank you so much, Amparo. Justin Loaf. Hey, Chris, just wanted to tell you about Superman Man of Tomorrow. I watched almost all your episodes, but I feel like you haven't mentioned it much. Seems like a good one to do one of your video essays. I felt like this movie really washed the bad taste of Wonder Woman out of my mouth. This movie felt like a Superman origin story while bringing in some new concepts we haven't seen before. I also felt like the relationship between Lois and Clark was unique and also still familiar. A little spoilerish here, but the movie's climax ends with a rational conversation to the villain who is addicted to excess. Sound familiar? This animated movie hit many of the same beats as Wonder Woman 1984 and did them much better. The more I have thought about it, I would have been fine with a PG-rated Wonder Woman flick with no violence if we would have had a better story. 84 didn't even follow its own rules that it had said about that dumb wishing rock. Definitely want the Snyderverse back, but if Warner Bros. Isn't giving the DC reins back to him, then maybe they should bring in some of the animated guys. Paul Dini and Tim Bruce, or even Sam Register's name is plastered on a bunch of them. Hamada isn't the guy. Anyone getting updates on that Wonder Woman movie and didn't see the issues with it should be out of there. Not to mention the weird rape implications of Steve stealing that guy's body. How did no one question that scene? So I did watch Man of Tomorrow. I did and I think that's the animated one you're talking about. That's the only one I can think of that has that title, but I did watch it. I have a review right now in the movie reviews section, and it is for Superman Man of Tomorrow, so go ahead and check that out. Raj Rudolph. Hey, Chris, I loved Wonder Woman 1884. Personally, for me, it was the respect and homage that Patty Jenkins paid to the Wonder Woman Linda Carter TV series that made it great. The Amazon Games, the Invisible Jet, Diana's civilian clothes using her tiara as a boomerang, the costume change, the jump from World War I to Washington, D.C. in the 80s, like the TV show did for season 3, except 70s, and of course, Linda Carter herself showing up in the mid-credit scene. Do you think people who don't really get Wonder Woman 1984 have never seen the TV series? That's why I think all the discourse is about. To me, it was blindly, dingly obvious, and for that reason alone is why I love this film. Your thoughts, sir? Have you seen any of the Linda Carter TV series? I haven't watched it recently, but I did watch it back in the day. And to me, that was acceptable. I mean, it was kind of like the Spider-Man shows, and back then as well. So to me, it's acceptable. And yeah, you're right. I mean, when people got into Wonder Woman 1984, what's the movie that they would be thinking about and comparing it to? Wonder Woman 1. So that's where I think a lot of them went wrong, because they were expecting a powerful sequel with the same tone and how it went with Wonder Woman 1. I think it was jarring for them because they didn't realize that it was going in that direction. And I think Pat Jenkins knew that. That's why she kept trying to tell everybody it's not a sequel. It's not a sequel. Even though the characters are trying. So she definitely tried. She really tried to change the tone. She did it purposely, because she wanted to put that in a different setting. I see it as, Diana Prince going into that setting. And like I said, that cheap, campy, type of material was really only in the mall scene and the little scenes before it. Well, that was about it. But more in my spoilers discussion. I actually kind of think it is more in line with Superman 2, not the camp stuff, but like how he loses his powers and regains them back by sacrificing in that sense. So for me, that was where Wonder Woman 1984 was more like than actually the TV series. But I get your point. Doobie, I think the blue eyes lasers are hotter, just like flame. At least that's how I interpret it, like a temperature thing. Yeah, I also talked to a few people, and I agree, because blue flames are hotter than orange. You want a cleaner propane on your, but it really was like a type of, I wouldn't say almost licensing thing. Like, it can't be, they can take the concept and they cannot like be totally like Superman or Supergirl. And so it was a weird thing. Like, and they do that all the time. Like I said, like I said, in Smallville, they couldn't call him Superman. They had to call, he couldn't fly. They had to call him, a thing like the Blur and stuff like that. It's ridiculous. So what would your ranking be for DCEU villains be? I'd personally put Zod on top, followed by Flora, Manta, Maxwell Lord, then Black Mask. Interested to see your opinion. Could be a cool idea to make a tier list about it for a video. Yeah, I could make a tier. That would be kind of cool to do a tier list maybe later on, or even a DCEU ranking. I put Zod on top myself as well. Yes. For Aura, I would say it's around the same. At the same time, I mean, for me, I would probably concentrate on the main villains rather than the side villains. So like Manta, Black Manta is a side villain. I would probably do like Zod, Orm. Ares is in there, but not as much. I mean, he did some cool things, but Black Mask would probably be over Maxwell Lord. And to your point, I mean, to me, and you can check out my spoiler review. To me, Maxwell Lord wasn't a villain at all. I don't think he was a villain at all. And you'll find out why in that spoiler review. Brandon Hayes, sorry about my long post. This will actually be my last post. Oh, okay. I actually want to thank you for this show because you gave me the opportunity to vent my deep frustration about Warner Bros. Pictures and their poor decisions. I was once very passionate about DC films and Zack's take on it because I saw Warner Brothers Pictures hiring A-list talent to do live action adaptations of my favorite cartoon shows from my childhood. So watching all that go up in flames so quickly was frustrating. But hey, life goes on. There are better things to do in life than care about comic book movies. The Snyder Cut is coming, and I'm at peace with that, actually. Nothing else really matters, to be honest. I doubt Warner Bros. Will do anything else with Justice League. Well, you never say never. I say do a comic expansion with Zack and Jim Lee and a big-budget anime adaptation of that comic with the JL cast voicing the characters. Warner Brothers seems fully invested in this multiverse thing. Like I said, it's a damage control. Either way, I think that's what happened I think what has happened is very noteworthy regarding how powerful a fandom can be. Peace out. Thanks. Well, thank you so much, Brandon Hayes, for your final comment, apparently. But yeah, don't lose hope on the Justice League sequels. Like you probably saw earlier, we just gotta support the heck out of the Snyder Cut when it comes out. Geek Haven Jan 86. Hey Chris, just noticed now in the background you added the Superman pop. I feel I did, yeah, right there. Someone also gave me a Christmas Superman as well. So, but thank you for that. That's awesome. I feel honored for being worthy of your collection. I think I can speak on behalf of all of us saying your wife is a fantastic manager since she's more or less responsible for getting you that Zack interview. She is. She's awesome. So I watched Dave's video discussing whether or not Wonder Woman 1984 is canon with BVS, and I happen to agree with the offshoot description. I know previously she said it could be canon, but after what Dave said, do you think any differently? There is no wrong answer, just trying to pick your brain. Also, Merry belated Christmas to you and your family, and stay safe while getting that IMAX theater for Zack. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to get that IMAX theater for Zack. I have one more theater, and I kind of doubt it, but I'm going to try. Regal Theaters is still closed because corporately, that's a corporate thing. So I can't get anybody there. But, he said no rush, so I'm going to keep trying. But to me, like Zach said, it's up to you if it's canon or not. To me, like he said, I talked to him, and he's like, you can shape it however you see fit to make it canon to you. And for me, yes. Probably not. It's like because she walked away from the world, so it's definitely that was never in their mind to actually have anything from Wonder Woman 1 to then, right? But you can almost, if you wanted to, kind of, when you watch it again, she shows herself, but she's never in the like she's not in particularly in like wars. She's not helping in wars since World War One. She's living her own life. She's doing things in secret, in a way. And like even the news broadcast on the stuff is like a mysterious woman helped out, right? They don't know that's Wonder Woman. She's not like she came out like Henry Cavill as Superman, where he's like really displaying himself like, I'm Superman and things like that. So I think it still could work, but then again, we'll see. Because I mean, in BVS, she lands down, she got to Batman really quickly. And at that point in time, I always thought that maybe she flew. But we'll see. Because in Zack Snyder's Justice League, and she doesn't fly, and we know for a fact that that's something that Patty Jenkins threw in that completely disregards Zack Snyder's Justice League. So, we'll see with that. El Necron. But like I said, it's up to you. You can make it canon. You don't have to make it canon. Don't make me tell you that it's canon or not. That's just up to you. and I'm fine if you don't believe it's canon. Chris, I like your Super Friends style voiceover. I had a Super Friends style voiceover? Which part was that? I hacked fruit. I watched Wonder Woman 84 in cinemas again for the second time. It's not as bad as I thought. I tried to imagine Wonder Woman 84 as a separate continuity, similar to Aquaman, which made me enjoy the film for what it is and not for what it could have been. All in all, I only care about the Snyderverse continuity, so all these newer DC films that don't fit into anything are fine to do whatever they want, in my opinion. As long as we see those directors' visions, I'll happily accept disconnected DC films as multiverse stories. I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. That's kind of where I'm coming from as well. Like, I can see how it could connect, but if it doesn't, I'm fine with that. Whatever, it doesn't bother me at all. I hack fruit because we'll still get the Snyderverse. We're hoping, we're going to fight for it. The blue eye beams are in the last Crisis on Infinite Earths episode. I'm interested in seeing how they explain the red beams. Me too. I am, right? Now I gotta remember. I think it was in there, but didn't like at the end when all the Earth split apart, and it just kind of ended that. So yeah, I'm really interested to see if they explain it all, or all of a sudden he just shoots eye beams, and Lois is like, I didn't know they were red. I want to say, I don't know. Brandon, a lot of Brandons out there, yeah. It seems like the Brandons love to write long paragraphs. For me, I didn't like Wonder Woman 1984 as much as I thought I would have. For me, this movie felt too tongue-in-cheek to leave a nice personal impression. Some things were more forgivable, but other things weren't so forgivable, like the hard cheese 80s antics. Thankfully, the most potent of which was kept for the first bit of the movie. Yep. Rushed character development. Really wish we got to see more of Barbara and watch her literally evolve into Cheetah, and lack of any real sense of risk or danger for heroes, resulting in a movie that didn't fit the way I personally enjoy movies, right? And that's fine. There was also a lot of things I liked in Wonder Woman 1984. Hans Zimmer's score in the opening scene with the operatics was awesome and got me pumped up, especially when Beautiful Lie played. Pedro Pascal's performance was awesome. But the thing I love the most about this film, despite everything I don't like, and is the reason why I was still entertained and happy while watching it, is how it's Patty Jenkins' movie. This is the movie she wanted to make, and it's the movie she got to release. I'm sure there are some parts that didn't make it, but this wasn't interfered with by executives in demand of change, but decided ultimately to leave Patty with the freedom to make the creative decisions herself and embrace the corny 80s tone the way she wanted. Even if it wasn't my cup of tea, I'm happy Warner Brothers gave Patty the space and respect she deserved to make this film. And I'm happy they agreed to bring her back to finish her trilogy. I hope Patty Jenkins understands to where the criticisms of this film is coming from, but also continues to make the third installment the way she wants and in the way she feels is appropriate for her trilogy. In the meantime, we'll get more of this awesome character in only a few months in Zack Snyder's Justice League. Speaking of Zack Snyder's Justice League, if those books are storyboard books, then I'm getting 2 copies of each book. He's a visionary. Storyboards are the Bible, the script to his guy. I don't know. If he could some way, like, have those like published in a way and to make multiple copies if he doesn't mind, that'd be pretty awesome. To go over here, Zach, if you don't mind. If you don't mind, I'm not, if that were to happen, that would be pretty cool. And then we could look through it and go, I would buy it. I would buy it immediately. But yeah, I agree with you. Definitely. I also support creative visions like Birds of Prey. And I like the film. It wasn't I'm not in love with him. I enjoyed it. I had problems with it, but I'm happy that Kathy Yan got to make her movie. Although she expressed that she may have not been able to make her movie the way she wanted, but I hope that Patty continues to make the movie that she wants to make. There are people that love Wonder Woman 1984 as much as we love Batman v Superman, and there's also people that hate Batman v Superman as much as we hate other films that we don't like or something. But it doesn't mean you can't support that creator. Got to make their vision made, right? You don't have to like it. I'm saying you don't have to like it because every film is subjective, right? It's just subjective. Be open-minded. There's no right or wrong answer. This is why we have great discussions back and forth about what we like, what we don't like. I truly understand if nobody liked that movie. Go ahead, rant about it, do whatever you want about it. But seriously, at least Patty Jenkins got to make the movie she wanted to make, apparently, right? She kept those 2 scenes in. They wanted to cut it out. We got to give her that. Like, wow, she got to keep those 2 scenes. Not many directors get to fight the studio and say, no more, right? And that's the whole no compromise, right? If we're fighting for Zack to have no compromise, it shouldn't stop there. I think an artist should definitely get to see their vision made. But there's always going to be that business. There's always going to be those executives and decision made where they're like, well, we have to do it certain this ways. It's very difficult when it comes down to comic book movies. And that's why we have a lot of independent films with creator, like 100% creative vision, with no studio looking at that, because it's not, budgets aren't commercial budgets for those. But this is the movie business, and you got to just like once in a while, just like, well, I'm glad that she fought her way, or he, whoever the director is, and got to make the movie they got to make. You got to give it that. You may or may not like it, but at least there's some integrity there, right? All right, so that is it for, wow, that's my last video for 2020. It feels weird. Not really. I mean, it just feels like any other day, actually. But it's going to be exciting from here on out, guys. And all I can say is thank you so much. Truly, thank you so much for hanging on and watching my videos daily, or if you can, watch it daily, and supporting my channel. For all you members, thank you so much for joining as a member, and supporting me in any way. It's not over. It's just begun. The fight is still continued for the Snyderverse, but also the excitement that we're getting more DC content. whether it's going to be on CW, whether it's going to be on HBO Max or in theaters. DC is a strong ass brand, right? It's a big brand. And I am so happy to see it continue to grow, that there is so much opportunity. There is so much to love within this DC world. And so it's like what Jim Lee says, right? We cannot chastise any portion. DC should be loved. You know, he wants to love DC as a whole, and I will do as well. So for me, I love DC as a whole, and I'm so happy that it grew this much and will continue to grow. Now with the multiverse, we can have so many different tones and stories, characters. It's beautiful, and I can't wait to see where we go from here on out. So if you absolutely love this daily dose of DC content and movies, shows, and video games, please click the like button. One last time for 2020, please click the like button. Hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Keep this hot dog light on through 2021, and I'll see you next year.